Okay, so the book states, so the post-mortem taking place can't be accepted. Diseases such as hepatitis, HIV, AIDS, septicemia, tuberculosis, COVID-19. Okay, that's new in the book. Sudden onset of dementia, Alzheimer's disease, jaundice, MS, MRSA.
Makes you wonder why edema, though, why you can't have it done with edema. Because that'd be interesting to understand why your heart.
But you see, you have to remember this is for doctors as well. They carry out operations on deceased for practice. Because it's not always to try and to move forward research for finding treatments. It's actually for doctors to practice how to carry out certain operations.
You wouldn't think it's interesting though when you've passed away, would you? You wouldn't think that was. I don't know.
I suppose, you know, it's like embalming, isn't it? Like it's a procedure in place, isn't there? The body does still operate.
Yeah, true.
That's the other point of view. Cancer, excessive weight, also as well if someone is underweight as well, which the book doesn't state. So I thought excessive weight would be if there's a young doctor. Manoeuvring the deceased. I thought, is it just the practical point of it, actually moving someone over, it's just being awkward. But no, it's actually underweight as well. And the reason why is if someone's overweight, they're considered is the body actually working properly with it inside. And the same reasons for someone underweight.
It's really good, pretty perfect to go to.
Science.
I know, yeah,
you're really healthy to go to this medical science, isn't you?
I think it's just someone who's not suffering from that serious. Yeah. And then also as well to say about bruising here. So bruising, any severe bruising as well. They don't want that either.
Do they want you walking?
I'm here.
Your bruise, so don't probably get spun there. Will any of us be allowed to go?
He's not. Yeah, and also, as I said before, if organs have been donated, apart from the eyes, or the ears, the eyes, other than that, will not touch you. It's a good way to have a free funeral. It's an interesting way to do it. Okay, so
people you leave behind, that's what they need to be accepting of that. Well, I'm sure they have to teach of some kind of skin to keep it the way it is.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure.
I can't remember what that video
They do wash them down.
They do put them on after.
They embalm them to the point where they're absolutely solid.
Yeah.
And they inject the toes and the fingers and it's all embalming for this one.
I can't remember how much that video showed, but I know I've watched something that they do to preserve even longer because it's
if we get in there, it'd be great. If we get
I just really hope so. It'd be so interesting.
That was like,
okay, so
I couldn't do what these guys do, being on that computer, watching or something.
Well, I just the first one.
these guys will see that, not us.
Oh, they see that?
Yeah, we're just in a little small corner of that. Yeah, they don't see us. Yeah. So relevant UK regulation. So the HTA, which is Human Tissue Authority, regulates the use of bodies donated for anatomical examination within a legal framework as set out in the Human Tissue Act 2004. The HTA receives around 2,000 inquiries a year about donation. I'd like to be a lot more if education's out there. The HTA does not collect or receive bodies or other human materials, but it licenses and inspects the organisations that do, making sure these organisations remove, store and use brains, bodies, tissues in an appropriate, respectful and well-managed way, and that the wishes of individual patients and their families are respected. Northern Ireland, there is only one school that carry out medical examinations, and that is the Queen's University. Regulation in Scotland, It's the Autonomy Act 1984 and the HTA Act 2006. Cool. Any questions there? Very straightforward. But I was going to say to you actually, the HTA are looking for funeral directors to become licensed for their COVID examinations. So if anyone is interested in getting your funeral home a license with the HTA, which costs you about £3,500 to have a license for free, let me know. I can send you the contacts for the HTA. Basically gives you a license to carry out the collection of samples on your site. It's a big form though, I do want to if you're interested. Okay, outcome 3. So the procedures of application prior to death relevant to your workplace location. So this is now, as I said before someone dies, they have to complete the consent form. Here is the consent form here. This gives you permission as well. Firstly, how long you're allowed to have your body in that school for, and the priority really is to say that you're happy for your body to be kept by that school. It's an application form effectively. This is.
And does that ever expire? Like, you have to renew that form?
No, you don't. Once
So
it's
say
done,
if I did that form now and die in 50 years?
it's done, unless the form's changed drastically.
Yeah.
And I imagine the school will be in touch with people on their list.
And do you have to pay to apply?
It's free, totally free.
What about if you change your mind?
You change your mind any time.
Yeah.
Yeah, just need to answer this door. Fine.
I've had it where someone's done it like you've said. They've passed away, but then not been accepted.
Yeah.
But the person who applied for it has also said to the family, you won't have to sort of pay for my funeral, and
Yeah.
left it that way around.
Yeah. That's a big point, that is, to prepare people and to make sure when they are completing these forms, to say that just bear in mind, you may not be
You
accepted.
still might not be accepted, yeah.
And
I
if it's,
found that quite sad because the deceased never knew.
Yeah, they never know.
I was exactly the same as you, it's that he died of dementia, couldn't be accepted, and then fell back to the family to pay for the funeral. But I was really sad on behalf of the deceased because they
They would
never
never
knew
know.
to carry that. No.
yeah, it's difficult, but again, it's out of our hands, isn't it? So
How do they get the money for this? Is it fundraised or is it NHS that pay? Or is it a university that pays, or how does
it's
it work?
the university responsible. Who pay the university fees? I don't know, because the university will also pay.
Like a medical school.
Yeah, the university will also pay the funeral home, the funeral director, the contractors one, to do collections from here to take back to Keele or Birmingham. They'll put an invoice into the school and the school pay them as well. So there's no fee to the family other than the funeral director who's doing the removal from that local address back to the funeral home, the other funeral home to collect from.
Yeah.
There can be a fee there, but like for ourselves, we don't charge the family, so there's no cost at all. So there's no cost for the family, unless on the consent form, they can tick that they make the arrangements for the funeral at a later date. The family take responsibility,
Yeah, the body back.
so the body can come back. Or do you prefer the arrangements are made by the university? So do you want to inform a relative or other person? Yes, no, don't let us know, just do it. We're not too, he didn't want us to know, or actually, not my cup of tea, just go on with it. Actually, yes, let us know. And in some schools will invite you to go to the crematorium service, and they'll have a memorial service there. For your ashes to be buried at the garden of rest, sent to the relative. So again, the family can have the ashes back at later dates. This comes into a later unit about that sort of pastoral care, how we can do things to assist in the family's grief and bereavement. That can be one right there.
So, say for instance, someone passes away at home and they know that they've donated their body. Who would collect then?
This
The
one.
coroners or the funeral directors?
Contracted funeral.
The funeral director first, if it's local, then the contract
Yeah.
funeral director.
Yeah, from our place, yeah.
Contracted funeral director won't do the initial removal.
No.
It's very unlikely anyway. It'll be
Yeah.
the funeral director in your area. We'll just do as a removal.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So then say for instance then, whoever comes to collect the deceased from the funeral directors will collect it and then be like, well, it's not accepted, but then they take it back to that funeral director.
You already know. Before the contracted funeral director comes to your funeral directors,
Yeah,
you'll already know if it's accepted or not.
Yeah.
Because the contact's already been made with the school as well.
so do they then have to say at that point, this is all the medical history, this is the weight, etc.?
Yeah, that's
They
right.
ask you what they
Is there like a checklist that you have to do or something?
Yeah, that's it. Look,
Go from the copy the entry.
Just asked me what they had died of, and obviously the things docs I said,
Right.
and they said, well, we can't accept them.
So do
That's
they
what
have to
happened in
receive full
yeah.
medical history before
okay,
they
yeah,
collect?
that'll be here in a minute. That'll
Oh,
be
is
in a
it?
minute. Yeah.
Okay.
So, thank you as well. With brain donation as well. So I arranged a prepaid funeral a couple of years ago with a lady that was desperate for her brain to go to science. So similar kind of situation. Her husband wasn't too keen on the idea, but he's like, yeah, what am I going to do? She died, and then he called me, and within like, okay, I was like, right, I need to act on this. Before we did the
Yeah.
removal, I called the school down in London, and did we go down to them? We did. We took her down to the actual school. We did straight away.
Oh,
Because I knew again of what her wishes were.
Yeah.
Straight away, I just acted straight away.
Mm.
Because he wasn't sure what to do. The husband, it's actually his responsibility really to call the
Yeah.
school, not mine.
Yeah.
But I knew he didn't have a clue what he was doing. He wasn't too fussed.
Yeah.
So
he's
So
great.
you initially did the removal, then went straight down to London.
I think we did pretty much straight away. Yeah, I checked with the school first, obviously, saying, can this happen? Yeah. You're all aware. Yeah, I got on my system. It's all here. Yeah, bring it down to us. They did that. Back to us.
And did they do it while you waited? Or-
I think they did. So I'm pretty sure Darren, my colleague, was trying to. I asked if he could watch, but no, he wasn't allowed
It's
to
quite
watch.
impressive to watch that, wouldn't it, really?
Yeah, He asked to watch, but he wasn't allowed. So yeah, pretty weird.
But the one that I thought, the timing, but also the funeral, like the temperature, like timing, didn't work with what they wanted.
Consent form as well then. So this is signed by the donor, okay, signed by the person who it's for, and also by a witness as well. And that's really important, that is, by the witness. Just to make sure. Good. That form then gets sent to the school, and then obviously they're aware of you. Your next of kin's aware of you, your witness is aware of what you're doing, you know what you're doing, and you'd hope as well that let the funeral director know as well, just so again it's all clear. Like what happened to me, that brain situation, it's just dealt with them very quickly.
Have a look at that.
Of course you can. This has all been emailed to you as well,
Yeah.
and also the list of schools have been emailed to you all as well.
Look, Laura just said to me, she said that her deceased didn't get accepted because it was at the home address for 3.5 hours.
Yeah. the
3.5 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the timing wasn't enough for them, so.
Because it wasn't in put in
Yeah.
refrigeration, quick enough, but
Yeah.
sometimes doctors take longer than that, so come on, verify.
That doesn't sound right to
It
me.
doesn't, no,
That doesn't sound right.
it was so,
Oh, really?
yeah, it was so strange that like the way the process was.
It sounds like they got the process incorrect.
Well, to be honest, the family weren't happy and it went like to quite a bit of management to get to it, and which by the time that many people it had to go through.
A breakdown's happened somewhere in that,
Yeah,
in that event.
completely, yeah.
That's happened.
Yeah,
That's not
completely.
that's not normal.
I thought it was quite a chunk of time, but when they were saying no, and she couldn't do it in the end, which is a shame.
That's just strange. That's strange. That's not quite. That's not quite. That's not right.
And they were saying because it was in the home address, she would have been in hospital or hospice. She could have been in temperature control quicker.
Straight away.
But yeah, that I've
3
never.
hours.
Yeah, strange.
The only time I've
It's
ever
years ago. That
is
one.
if the person who passed away lived on their own,
Yeah.
you can't establish a date.
The
the
timing.
timing.
Yeah.
So you say it's 3.5 hours, it's going to
We
be
could
4
have
days.
been,
Ago.
yeah.
That's where I
Yeah.
had that.
And that's what the problem was the timing of everything just didn't, and then we couldn't get there for even longer. So
That guarantees on when the person passed away.
yeah,
It's important though to say that on the consent form, just remember the years how you kept for is on the consent form. It says up to 3 years. Northern Ireland, it's down as just 3 years, full stop. And it's probably a lot easier down to anyone school. But yeah, that's probably why it says up to 3 years for England, Wales, and Scotland, multiple schools. Northern Ireland is good 3 years.
Some of them, that's why. You won't be expected.
So you've put the score there with consent. Are you happy with that?
Mm.
Happy guys, consent?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 4.
Who needs to witness it?
Just put a witness.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so documentation now then. So you mentioned before about what needs to be done. How do you know that someone might have a problem and to be accepted? So a medical certificate of cause of death is required to be completed. So first, if you think about it, it's quite straightforward. We need to make sure that the procedures for a committal is actually completed prior to them going to the school. It's like trying to do all this stuff after in 3 years' time. It's too late then. So we make sure everything is ready for committal prior to them going to the school. Once we've done all the examinations, what they need to do can be done at the end. You're basically just in hold for 3 years. That's the idea of it. The other thing it says on here is a little list as well. Other reasons for non-acceptance. Bed sores is on there as well. Severe deformity of the spine. And obviously medical schools are full. There'll be a huge outcry soon for won't there? If COVID has affected it.
Yeah.
It'll be empty by the sound of things. It should be noted that although one medical school may accept a body donation from someone who has, for example, someone with dementia, as Anna says, a different school may not be able to. Again, it's about what they need at that time. In addition to the medical exclusions, it is not possible for medical schools to accept a donation if a death occurs abroad. Or again, embalming is probably required, that's right. Or if a death occurs over the Christmas or Easter periods when the school will be closed. That's fine. Normally occur for 3 days, as I stated in the real world, it's 5. In core conditions. Yeah. So again, cremation forms, doctor's cremation form will need to be completed as well prior to death. Not prior to death. Prior to this body going to the actual school. So again, everything's good to go. Once the school has confirmed their willingness to accept donation, the next of kin executor should obtain a medical certificate of cause of death from the usual GP and register death in the usual way.
Do they feed any animals?
That's right. The school may request the next of kin or executor to visit them to hand over the registrar's certificate of burial cremation and find a certified copy of an entry. The school will typically fund an unwitnessed cremation where they have completed their studies. The next of kin or executor would also need to complete a cremation form 1, application for cremation. These documents will be retained by the school until such time as they were needed. I say alive, form 4 isn't completed after death. That is done later on at the actual medical school. Apologies. Cremation form 1 is completed. However, the medical school may provide on completion of form HTA1. I'll come on to in a moment what HTA1 is. A choice to the next of kin or executor relating to the eventual disposal of the body. For example, the next of kin or executor may arrange the funeral service themselves and all expenses Related to the funeral, we met by the next of kin for a taking tour. The school will make the funeral arrangements fully funded by them. In this instance, the next of kin and taking tour may request they are notified of the date and time of the cremation or attend the committal service. Take possession of the correct remains. So again, those points there are in that consent form. That consent form has been sent to you all by email as well, so you have that one. Every school on the actual list will have their own consent form on there as well. Yeah. As the death will have been registered and the registrar's certificate of cremation issued, it is necessary for the school to send to the issuing registrar a notice that the deceased person is at the school. So again, you're letting the registrar know, don't panic, they're with us. You will receive this, but not yet. Finally, on that page, so the FD may have little to no involvement in this process unless contracted with the school to carry out transfers, as I stated. That'll be an arrangement between the school and probably like the local funeral director fee, which is sensible. Yeah. Remember, you do have the funeral director carrying out the removal can charge a removal fee on that initial removal costs prior to the contracted funeral director coming in to send the deceased from your location to the school. So Scotland's the same procedure apart from, again, you've got the registration process is different. In addition, each year, each university holds a memorial service to recognise the gift given by those who have donated their body for medical teaching and research. Next of kin will be invited. Okay, that's fine.
So even if the next of kin, so, oh God, no, I don't want the body going to medical science, it's still go.
By law, the next of kin executor is there to carry out the wishes, is to execute the will. That is their legal right. Then, when they die, they are responsible. So, you know, you can change.
It's difficult, isn't it?
It all comes down to contesting the will, doesn't it, really?
And then by that point, you can't
So is it
restore
more
it.
legal?
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Donating your
Probably
body.
right.
Right, you can do anything that quick, do
To contest the will.
Well, that's when it says it on the website that you can't, if it takes long for the will, then you can't do it because then it's the time frame's gone.
You'd need your family on board with this, don't you? Really? You need them on board. Unless you're on your own, and then you just speak to the funeral director. But you need a witness, don't you? So basically get a witness that. Again, it comes down to executors. It's legal.
It's a little bit obviously different to this, but what we've got with prepaid. A lot of people are saying they want direct cremations, then it comes to it and the family's changed it to a complete full funeral.
Well, by law, they can change.
Yeah, of course.
With this though, if it's in the
It's more legal.
it's legal, yeah. It's in the will. It's slightly different. But it's, as Joe said, though, if you contest on it, then you get thrown out.
Yeah.
So
And then they can't have it done anyway.
yeah, this is it. So I think, like you say, if family don't want you to have it, they're probably the case. You've got really strong feelings towards it. You know, you could avoid having it done. You'd like to think, though, if that's what someone wants, you're going to fulfil that wish.
Yeah.
And if you have an appointment as an executor, you know, you'll be a responsible person, someone that person trusted. Yeah. So hopefully it'll just happen.
I think it'd be no cost of the executor either, would it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But yeah, so the bottom line is that you could get it withdrawn. Okay. So Northern Ireland as well. Differences there will be you've got one school, Northern Ireland.
That's what I'm into the dog.
That's true.
No.
It's a lie. They want to do that now, before going to the next part. I'm just jumping ahead to go through documentation there. So, England and Wales, what documentation is required for bequeathal? So firstly then, as I've already stated, the certificates of cause of death. Registrar certificate of verification, your green form. This is the outcome 6, this is, I'm just jumping ahead. A certified copy of an entry, okay, so they want that's an additional form now. And that's what the family will have, which they'll give to the school, okay? Then the consent form, which you've all seen. And the HTA form 1. Okay, so these are the HTA forms are coming now. So the HTA 1 form, this form is completed upon donation of the body and is the authorization, for the use of the body for anatomical examination, education, training and research. So that's your HTA 1 form. HTA 3, this form is completed by the deceased GP, confirming identification of the deceased and that she was not suffering from any notifiable infection immediately prior to their death. So that's Eleanor said that, and that's where you're proving that the deceased is acceptable. That basically say, yeah, everything's fine here. That list doesn't apply to this person. We're all good to go. HTA 5. This form is issued by the school to registrar confirming the deceased has donated their body. 6 and 7. These forms are the giving and receiving of the body by the school. For example, the FD transferring the deceased to the school would sign the HTA 6 for the body as being delivered, and the representative of the medical school would sign the HTA 7, confirming that the body has been received. So these also act, the purpose of these as well is actually invoicing. They use these to actually invoice the school, that acts as their receipts, which they can then use as evidence to prove the job's been carried out.
Yeah.
If you also have the HTA 1, because from 3 to 7, it says this is done by, this is done by. Who's 1 for? Family?
That's the GP, I think, isn't
Well,
it?
the GP's 3. So it says on 3 it's completed by, and on 5 it's issued by, and 6 and 7.
I wonder if that's the actual
So,
place, isn't it, for me, upon donation, so an authorisation, so I reckon it's like the medical.
When they receive the
You think,
deceased, they receive the deceased.
Yeah.
This form is complete upon donation of the body and is the authorization for the use.
It's just that the others break it down into whose responsibility it is, apart from that one. That was all.
Yeah, I think Laura's got it right now. Completed upon donation of the. It's the school completing it, yeah. And then, so after the HTA forms, cremation form 1, application for cremation of the body of the person who has died. That is done by the next of kin before, preferably before the deceased goes into the school. That's again done. So when it comes to the cremation, it's done straight away. No waiting around.
So, you know, if you were to donate your body, you can't have a burial then, can you? So you've got to not be against cremation.
I think there is a way around it. There is a way around it, yeah. Again, I think you need to speak to the school, it'll be the school at that point.
It's probably at the time the medical school wanting all the details for how the person's passed away. And then at a later date, oh, we want burial, then that doesn't apply. Then
Yeah,
obviously.
well, it was. Something from my course is that you can do your burial can be done, but you'll meet the costs.
Yeah.
So that's basically saying that we'll take responsibility afterwards.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So the school won't pay for it, basically.
Do they notify the family when the cremation will be?
That's what you consent for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you request to be notified for when it's going to take place, or are not fussed
Oh,
to let
okay,
me know.
okay.
Selena?
I thought I heard or read or something that one of the reasons that they didn't like you to be buried is something to do with what they actually do with your body. I thought they put different things through different channels, like through your veins and whatnot, to actually enlarge. Do you know what I mean? Some of the chemicals they were using, isn't that why they then have to cremate them, so that those chemicals wouldn't then go into the ground? Or am I totally making that up?
It's a fair point. I mean, like, obviously green burial sites wouldn't like certain things, but you know, if you're taking responsibility of the deceased after the medical schools finished with using you, then I can see if you want a burial, I can't see why it couldn't happen. You know, I'm confident you're going to get it sorted.
Okay, I thought I'd read or something had come up that it was because of the process, but maybe it's on certain things. I thought it was because of some processes, because they flush certain chemicals or certain dyes or certain things through to try and enlarge bits so they can actually examine certain things in a different way. But maybe I'll look into it and I'll let you know if that's true or not.
That sounds possible, but again, no, if you're taking responsibility of it afterwards, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know many burial grounds that are asking the questions really.
If we
no.
want bodies to be buried or constantly clean,
Yeah.
there's not anything.
It says on the golden form that you can request the return for a private burial.
Yeah.
But they won't hold the memorial service for that.
Yeah, they're basically saying that if you want to have something different to what we offer you, that's fine.
Yeah.
You sort it. That's basically what it comes down to. And that comes along, that's everything that is really. They have one option, that's it, one option.
I suppose it saves complications.
That's it, yeah. Well, it's free, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So application form 1's completed, and then application form 7 and 10. So 7 then replaces cremation form 4 and 5. 7 being certificate following anatomical examination. This form is completed when the body is released for cremation. So that replaces the medical authority to say, yeah, this deceased person is acceptable for cremation, and that's coroner's form 6. Cremation forms 4 and 5 is a completely separate form. The medical professional is saying it's acceptable for cremation. Then cremation form 10 is then your medical referee at the crematorium giving you the thumbs up to make sure that all the application form, the green form, the application form, everything else all ties up. Cremation form 10 is then completed. And that's the medical referee's authority to cremate. So those are your forms, all the forms required. Okay.
They're all high, it's fine, you go.
All comfortable? Any questions? Right, I have skipped ahead there slightly, so I just thought it'd be easy to get it done now because it might answer a few questions along the way. Doesn't matter, doesn't it? Okay, so the amount of issues that the FD may need to consider associated with bequeathal. So we've kind of been touching on this throughout really about how it might affect the family, like direct cremation, if they object. The whole point is that you'd like to think that families would go along with it because it's what the loved one wanted and they were already aware. Again, there's always a first time and we see some strange stuff, don't we, people? So the body isn't accepted. The family may need to prepare to arrange a funeral service. That might cause as much shock to them than actually having their loved one go for medical science, as Craig stated. So what can we do there for people? Any options at all? What can we suggest to people? Are there any other solutions to that? If it's not accepted, and the whole family have sort of prepared themselves for this, what can we suggest to them as alternatives?
A service without, a cremation without service.
Direct cremation, unattended,
Yeah,
good option.
or direct burial.
Direct burial.
Mm.
Anything else at all?
Making a donation towards the extra donations, medical.
Yeah,
needs.
definitely, yeah.
Burial's done natural burial. So that way incline the person.
Natural burial grounds, yeah.
Yeah.
Another option for them.
Offer our services,
Sorry,
offer our services.
offer our services.
Yeah, our
Yeah,
services as funeral directors.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. They're gonna have to,
support them.
they're gonna have to use us now, basically.
Yeah,
They weren't
yeah.
planning to do that. It's money, isn't it? Now, basically, they're paying for a funeral service now. But I feel like what Laura says, an unattended funeral service, it's the cheapest option. But then again, you can't question, is it always about money? And actually, it might not be. It might be they actually want to do their bit for the world and society. So, okay, are there any other considerations to make when the deceased person is going to go for the school now? Can we offer any other things in house before the school accept the deceased?
I'm sure you'd be able to take fingerprints and things like that if they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Locks the hair, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Because they're not in control then, are they?
Viewing as well.
Well, if it's between 3 and 5 days in reality, they could have a small dip in the chapel.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Bereavement guidance, if any of them struck bereavement counselling.
Yeah, it's counselling afterwards as well.
Maybe down the line, yeah.
But it's case stated there, the big thing to offer people prior to the contract funeral directors coming to your place to collect the deceased. So the facility of viewing.
Well, would that change temperature wise?
For literally, that 3 hour situation that you experienced, that's. Oh God, I'm not sure it was ever there really, but there's some extreme characters involved by the sound of things.
In regards, I did hear of that once, in regards to a brain donation. It had to be
Brain donation, yeah, is literally immediate.
See, because it wasn't me literally meant to be talking to the hospital, well, the medical school. I was only trying to get involved to try and make it happen. So I don't know what they was actually trying to, whether it was the full body or or what they were
Quite a bit more to it than that,
donating. Yeah, it was just a nightmare.
What we've done before as well
So you are allowed to do chapel then?
It's already been accepted, haven't it?
accepted. So the contract funeral director are on their way, the next day, we'll come down tomorrow afternoon.
In that time, you could do, yeah.
What we've done before as well here is we've invited the family into the reception area. They've all had teas and coffees and then actually watched the removal ambulance from the contract funeral directors take their loved one away, so they can actually see their loved one go. So again, it's nothing major, but just something for them. And also as well, doing it for free. That initial removal, that deceased person is doing something big for us all. So like it's a way for us to do something back as well.
You could do something like, as like a balloon kind of release, like a biodegradable balloon release. I remember you were saying it, thinking I might saying that about balloons, but you could, or a candles or something. You could do that, couldn't you? Yeah. I don't know if it says it in there. Can you do it if you've got a pacemaker?
A pacemaker is on the consent form. It asks you, do you have a pacemaker?
Notice that. Okay.
Anything else at all we can do?
They could still have a plaque at the local crematorium, couldn't they?
Yeah.
You
could.
Have a memorial service in the Creme Chapel.
A memory bench.
Memory bench.
Since the cremation's taking place, we could offer to do the statutory and things for all.
Also, memorial service, the local village hall,
local church,
a chapel somewhere, nobody present, but just have a memorial service for that person. Pictures.
If they wanted to do something medically and they wasn't allowed to, you could always say, well, why don't you all donate blood? Or well, you don't say it like that, but like give them ideas that they could do something to help.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Regarding memorial service, just think about that lady with the brain and other people that wanted to have their bodies donated. They're not usually that inclined, are they, to have memorial services, which is interesting. But again, it's just ammunition for us, starting people, isn't it? Really? Okay, just have a look at here, make sure we've got covered. Arrange viewing, yeah, that's down. Right, that's good. Okay, that is all there. We've gone through more things than actually in the book, so that's always good. So activity 3 then. Activity 3. So on the actual school websites, some schools' websites are better than others. On some of them, I've sent you again those links last week. There's a few question and answer pages on there. So download a list of frequently asked questions, and that's from the HT website there. But again, different schools have more information as well. Create your own reference guide. For people. So the things that we covered here. So considerations to make after your loved one has gone to the school, things that you could do, personalisation, what just done there, that's it. So in red, the student should complete activity from the perspective of passing on knowledge to less experienced colleagues or clients. I'd aim it at clients, if it was me doing this, aim it at clients. I'll do it for your business. I'll have a brochure for your business in your funeral home about doing this. What are the main questions or information that clients need to know? So what are the main questions or information that clients need to know? Again, we discussed this. The big one being you need to make sure you complete this consent form prior to death. That's the big one. So does the student have access to the relevant forms? So again, the forms have all been emailed to you. You've got all those. Does the student know the exact process for bequeathal? Again, we've just gone through all that. What happens when the deceased gets to the school? I don't know. It'd be useful to know that information to see what I know they do. Operations, as I say, practice runs, dummy runs. But again, what other uses they use the deceased for?
It shows you in that video.
Yeah, sounds ideal.
It's really, really good.
And finally, consider company personalisation. Yeah, personalisation and branding. So it is asking you to make your own booklet, basically, your own little leaflet on bequeathal. And I think it's really good for your company and your community to have this in your office.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
In green, then, so how this impacts on your own role, impacts upon the team, so how it gives them more knowledge to get this information out to people. Impact on the field directing business. So again, from a business point of view, you're providing education for your community, and also it actually helps the community. So number 4. For your business, though, how that can affect your own business is that you are perceived and seen as giving the information. You're the guys with the knowledge. Happy with that? So it literally is your own guide. Activity 4. Follow this link to learn more about the guidance issued by the Anatomical Society. And then in red, the student should complete this activity from the perspective on passing on knowledge to less experienced colleagues or clients. What are the main questions or information? So this is now anatomical examinations, so different procedure. Okay, as far as that counts. Yeah. So 3 is frequently asked questions. 4 is guidance issued by the Anatomical Society. That's on their website. So just use the anatomical website to get your information from. Three frequently asked questions.
3 frequently asked questions.
Yeah, 4 guidance. Quite close, aren't they?
Well, sitting there looking stranger. Quite easily, I need to write about for that.
All of that.
I know, yeah.
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 They're very close, aren't they? Very
Yeah.
close.
Well, you start, well, it's a frequently asked question, so.
I'll keep 3 as your own guide. I would keep 3 as my guides. Actually, your company branded guides stamped, and 4 is just guidance from the Anatomical Society.
I think a lot of these assignments though have interlinked, haven't they?
Activity boards, that link, I think you emailed it out to everybody where it's got the religious section on.
Ah, yeah.
The further guidance for people who've got a religious.
Yeah.
Ethnic.
So that'll help as well. That link I sent to you, which Kate sent to me, it's got there about all different religions and cultures. So that's ideal. There's plenty of information on there for you to use as well.
Are there any religions that are against it?
Yeah.
And the Bayers, we did it.
Hindu,
The Bahar, yeah.
Yeah, it's in the.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh, sorry, let's not ask this. Sorry.
And it was a few years ago, the into the custody questions.
Yeah.
Which says, it mentions that, I don't know, I'm still going to be just about.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah.
I'll be out
Oh, I don't know how
Yeah, the crates aren't they? They are quite similar, but keep 3 as your company guides.
PMs and organ donations of extremely traceable to most Rastafari.
Another thing is the fact that a lot of religions, they like to conduct people extremely quickly. So
Yeah.
that's, it's expanding the works to have, the person,
Yes,
they
like
like
Muslims.
to tax the next day, mind this time to offer their papers and stuff.
Again, now, if some people were into this, it's religion. Religious people really. Wouldn't be into this.
Somebody in mind, you can get out there family for a week.
This is what I mean, yeah, this is what I mean. If you're strongly religious, your views.
It's like, because you're poor.
You're more of a scientific person, it's more scientists, isn't it? Yeah, try and keep 3 and 4 separate, if you can, so it's clear for yourself as well, because even me going through it, it sounds quite close. But as Kay said though as well, try and use 4 as like religious, an overview of it as well. That link has been sent to you all as well.
That's the only Muslim film I think we've ever done.
Kay's link sent to you all an email, a separate email on its own, so you know.
No, they all stand up again. I've seen it Handsworth, the one, because they take place there every day, and I've been there for normal funerals, and it's just they all stand back.
I'm getting used to the fact the keyboard's here, I can't get used to it. Okay. We've done an action 6. Self-correction. So, following points then, do you understand what a donated body may be used for? Again, doctors, started medical research, the whole purpose of that was discussed. Do you understand why a body may not be accepted by a school? Are you aware which authority governs the process of bequeathal? HTA, yeah. Are you aware how and where to source guidance related to bequeathal, application procedures, and the process following death? What's about documentation? Do you know which apply? Do you appreciate the relevance of arranging a service following acceptance of the body to the medical school? Happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. That gives us unit 7. So that is unit 6 and 7 completed then. Both units, it's difficult to go into a lot of depth with it because it is very much a process unit. And when the body gets to the local schools, we don't have a vast amount of information what actually happens is the facts. I will try and get, as I say, Sam, if you can speak to your dad's friend, that'd be great. Get us in there. Anybody else with any connections, so let me know.
I might ask, because the person who told me about the one at the old Queen Elizabeth was Larice.
Was it? Yeah.
That was years ago, so
She
I might drop her a message and ask her. Yeah, she's mine now.
Virtual guys, any questions or queries at all? All comfortable? Yeah, all happy?
Yeah, fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Guys here, any questions, queries, comfortable?
Next to the toilet. Where's your toilet now, John? It's just the left.
Show that there, okay, guys, well, 2 o'clock. Earlier than I thought that would be. So thanks today. Good session. I thought Ed was interesting. So Ed Cutler was very interesting hearing about what he did. That was fascinating. And any questions at all, just shout through to me. I'll send you the videos of this afterwards as well. I'll just check first Ed Cutler to make sure he's happy for me to share that video. And anything else, I'll just shout through to me. But the units are all getting done. I'm pretty much there. There's a couple of people that have been delayed getting stuff to me, hence what might be delayed getting back. My eyes are down.
You keep pointing at each other.
But yeah, but any queries at all, just shout me. That's sorted. All happy?
Yes, thank you.
You know, if maybe, because I think that especially the Bequeathal maybe do like an hour or something on a night, like on a Teams maybe.
Yeah, go through it again.
If the activity, there's 3 or 4 maybe.
Okay.
I think it'll be all right.
Or 3, just based on 3 being your company.
So like a
Question and answers.
Question and answers.
Yeah. For clients or someone in your workplace.
That'd be all right.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's it. And then 4 being just information guidance from the Anatomical Society.
So you 3, so stage 3, when you ask a question.
That's on number 3. That is.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. But see how you feel when you start to sit down with it. Some of this is new to me as well. This is I haven't marked any work before on this because this is a new course. So.
I'm moving on.
Yeah, it's more capable, so just like.
Right, again, online guys, I'll stay there.
Just one question. Would you put about that, I can never say the word, donating your body to science, would you put that on your website, or would that not be something that you would advise putting on your website?
Personally, I think it's good to have it on there. I've got a short on that website about it. I have about basically, if you want to have it to make sure the consent form is completed before that.
Okay.
Yeah. As Sam just said there, Selena, even a few links is useful.
Yeah. Just as much information for people as possible, I guess, because they don't really want to ask the questions sometimes. They just want to read.
But also as well, Selena, the leaflet and activity 3, that could be the actual work for your website. That could be it.
Yeah, well, that's what I was actually going to do, because obviously we're redesigning our website at the moment, and I just suddenly thought I've got nothing. I just quickly looked to my old website, and there's nothing on there. There's things about repatriation, but nothing about donating your body to science. And I was like, oh, actually, maybe that's a little taboo subject that could be there, just in case.
Okay,
Cool.
so activity
Cool.
3. So
Cool. Thank you.
brilliant, guys. Thanks all, Megan. See you. Weekend, guys.
You just started to go. Maybe. I sometimes.